Hey guys, Katie here, celebrating Erin's 30,000 subscribers on YouTube with a scrap lift where we take one of her projects and we scrap lift it and make it our own. So let's see what I have planned for today. So we are scrap lifting Erin to celebrate her 30,000 subscribers. I don't know how some of these girls continue to put out high quality videos and artwork on a regular basis. I know that I just cannot. But I am excited not only to celebrate her, but I'm excited to actually document some of our Vancouver trip. That's one good thing about having crafty friends, is that you get to basically copy them and your albums are done for you, especially when you travel with them. So I am actually scrapbooking a layout that Erin did with one of these photos. She did a lot of photos, just us hanging out around town, trying to find parking, driving, but she put this one in because it really didn't fit with anything else. I am going to make a one-page layout with hopes of adding an additional layout pretty soon. I haven't printed all my photos, but these I have. And in her layout, she used on-the-go papers. I mean, you can tell right off the bat, the colors just match perfectly. I have something else in mind for this paper collection, and I only have one. So I actually have pulled this one, and this is Lovely Garden, mainly because y'all know I don't like florals. But if I have photos, I have two 4x6s, or I did blow this group one up to a 5x7. If I have photos that also lend themselves to florals, so you can see the bright pinks, then I can use these sparingly, and that is my MO. So I've pulled this to kind of play around and see if maybe that will work a little bit better. Of course, I'm missing kind of this terracotta color that is also in the On The Go. But remember that you don't always have to match your photos with the colors of your paper. You can choose your paper to complement your photos. And so I am looking mainly at the black, kind of looking at the blues and the windows, and then of course those bright umbrellas. And you can see more of the colors here. So just see how good that all of this matches with this paper. So I'm going to grab also some embellishments, do some cutting offline. She did use one of our sketchbooks, and it is one of my favorite sketches. But again, I am going to make this a one-page layout. So you can also use our sketchbooks to do that as well if you're predominantly one page. I'm not predominantly. I do a lot of double-page scrapbooking, but for my channel, I usually only do one-page layouts because I got to get in and out, headed to basketball games, so on and so forth. So I'm going to clear some things off, grab some things, and I'll be right back. Before I cut my papers, I wanted to actually take a look at the sketch and decide which layout I'm going to work with first. So I have a 5x7. Of course, the 4x6 is the same photo, but then I also wanted to include this one. And so I'm trying to decide if this one is going to be better or this one. I love all the white space on this one, but I think I'm going to use the right layout for this. I think it's going to lend itself just a little bit better. I am still going to include some white space, but yeah, I think I'm going to go with this one. And then that way I can also kind of use some elements that Erin did in her video. Okay, so I have my pieces cut. I've used a piece of the Blueberry Bushel cardstock. Now this is original solid core cardstock, so there's not a light or a true color. And then I've used these patterns. You can see you've got some florals on the back, but I did pick these two that had the black and the white, and then of course this one that's going to pull in the pinks and the blues from my photos. Now I did have a brilliant idea as I was making some cards using the new coneflower die cut and stamp set. And I'm going to try that on this layout, so stay tuned. But here is how it looks. It's meant to be interactive, or you can just add 3D foam tape or dimensionals in between the layers, and then it doesn't actually open. But I'm really excited to see if this is going to work out. I'm going to start just by putting the cardstock down on the left side and then that black and white polka dot on the right. Now I could have just gone with my white cardstock base, but just wanted some sort of pattern over here. And you'll know that I usually do better if I do it like this. So we've got that. Now the next piece I'm going to put down is this floral piece, but you're not going to see a whole lot of it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to gut just a little bit of it. Not much, and I'm only going to gut 3 sides because you won't even see this side at all. And again, this is from the Lovely Garden. And so see, I have this that I can use either on cards. I can even use the back side. I could have done this as well, but I already have a lot of polka dot paper, you know, whether it's Stampin' Up or Close to My Heart or my stash. So now the important thing is to get this the way you want it. Now the sketch calls for it to be closer to that left edge, but of course, because I'm using the polka dot paper, I want a little bit more of it to show than would if I scoot it over the way the sketch calls for. So I'm going to do it that way, and then we're going to go ahead and put this one down as well. And this one is centered left to right, top to bottom. And I just love how it overhangs into this cardstock right there. Now before I do anything with the photos, I'm going to go ahead and kind of do my little experiment right quick. Okay, I pulled out my die cut machine and I've cut 2 pieces of cardstock. One in Melon Mambo and then one in the brand new Darling Duckling. And so I'm going to try both of these. And what we're going to do is we are going to cut that cone flower, the part that is interactive. So it's this one. We are going to cut it out of each one of these. Okay, so now I have a Melon Mambo and then a Darling Duckling. And I am going to try and emboss the Darling Duckling. The Melon Mambo. I am using the Glass and Garden embossing folders. There's 2. Oops. There's 2. This is the glass, and then you have kind of the garden, which is a floral. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to fold this, and I'm just going to put it in like that, and then run it through. I'm also going to go ahead and cut the stem out of some silver foil paper. Okay, so now what we are going to do, I'm wondering how many of you have already figured this out. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to take the 1 3/4 inch punch, and I'm going to punch down the center first. So right there. And then I'm going to punch there. And then there. Isn't that so cute? I love it. Now let's see if I can actually utilize it on the scrapbook layout. This is about where I want the placement of my photos. Mainly, you would think that since this one's kind of capped off right here, this kind of leaves this side open. So you would think I would switch these. But we have so many umbrellas on this photo, and I want that kind of to cap this left side. So of course I have my little coneflower turned umbrella, and I tried to kind of draft this out off camera so you wouldn't have to watch this process. But it's just really kind of getting lost. So I thought about putting it there. I thought about bringing in some mix and match. I pulled a tag from the Washes and Floral Tags Mix and Match. I pulled a sun from the Something for Everything, thinking that I could kind of hide that to kind of round it out. I also pulled some Retired DSP Sunshine and Rainbows, thinking I know there's a cloud. Yeah, there it is. There's a cloud paper in here. So even adding clouds, even though that would be that would be introducing a different color. But I still think that much like when I do flowers, if your photos have things in them, you don't necessarily have to have embellishments that are those things. And so I was trying to push this too much because I loved it. I love the idea. I love that it kind of worked. But now I'm just going to kind of go away from that for a little while. While I had this out looking for the clouds, of course, here are rainbows. Now keep in mind, I'm trying to bring in some other colors because of this banner right here. It's going to allow me to do that with it out, just without it looking like it's out of place. So there are those rainbows. There are these, but they're not going to cut very easily. And so I'm pretty sure if I'm going to use this paper collection, those are the ones I'm going to use. Now, we also have the brand new Boho Vibes that has rainbows too. I just don't know. I've already spent so much time on this layout. To be honest with you, I don't know if I want to die cut one single thing else. So if I can get it done with just fussy cutting this out, that's what I'm going to do. And yes, sometimes it's just like that. So see, it brings like all of those colors in. And then I've got the little sun. And then I've got some tags. So I've got some things to play with. So let me think about that here for just a little bit. I have put some 3D foam tape on the back of the photos because, like I said, pretty sure that that's where those are going to go no matter what I do around them. And so I am moving to the things I know. I do that often. As I think about other things, I go ahead and get the things that I know out of the way, and it seems to help. So this one's going to go on the left. Now this one I did create a pocket because I think what I'm going to do with the little rainbow and sunshine is kind of hide some journaling. There's not a whole lot of space to do journaling around here, and if my title idea works, it's pretty much going to take up that cardstock, that blueberry bushel over on the left. So I'm going to put this here. Now what I'm doing is I am trying to do equal distance right here and right here. So now what I think I'm going to do is on this tag, I love this tag because it pretty much fits kind of that light pink. And then I have this rainbow that I cut. And so I am going to create a little pull tab with this. I'm just going to put some at the very bottom, and then I like to hand journal. I was so tempted. The layout that I am scrap lifting of Erin's, of course, is she showed how to do some journaling on your computer to match the size of, she used a Memories and More card. I was so tempted to do that, but y'all know that I just prefer to do hand journaling. Now, how this is going to work on this sun is I am going to actually affix it to the layout, and I want it right there. And then that way the rainbow and the little pull tab, that way it pulls in and out like this. Now I'm also going to do it, normally I would cut my page protector there, and then this rainbow would be on the outside of my page protector. I'm going to do it a little bit different, and stay tuned for that. So we've got that, and now I'm going to work on my title. Now I have the stamp set. It's called Turtley Sweet. It is from the Turtley Sweet scrapbooking kit. So a lot of our paper collections also have scrapbooking kits, but then they come with stamp sets that don't have die cuts, aren't bundles. They're just some sentiments and some oversized sentiments that are perfect for scrapbook layouts. This one I am loving. I didn't get the scrapbooking kit for this, but I am loving this oversized. Look how big this is. Smiles and Sunshine. And I just figure I can use that for a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm thinking it's going to go there. And then there's this blocked out Good Times. It's going to go here. And now I just have to figure out what colors, because I am also going to be using the Darling Duckling ribbon to also bring in. Now this is crushed curry, but I think it's going to be close enough. And again, just trying to bring in all of those colors from that banner. I have done all my stamping offline, and I've also attached everything with dimensionals just to kind of pop it up. Now I am looking at the Darling Duckling ribbon. This ribbon is a little bit different than what I thought it was. I was hoping I could hide that seam. So now I'm pulling out some Darling Duckling paper or cardstock, and I originally was going to do the seam as well, and then I remembered that I need to create some sort of pull tab for this hidden journaling, and that way I don't have to cut my memory protector. So I am just going to adhere this little strip of cardstock on the back of that pull tab, and then pull out one of my stamp sets that actually has that interactive element to it, and it says pull. And I'm going to ink that up in Lagoon. Now, the stamps that I used Lagoon ink. That is a close to my heart color. And then, of course, the Darling Duckling. Now, Lagoon ink, I did bring that in because there is a kind of lagoon color in that rainbow, as well as Chelsea. Her little sweater that she's wearing has kind of a lagoon and a peacock color to it. So I thought that that fit really well. As far as my embellishments, I first thought I was going to do these burst sequins, and then I pulled out the in color flat pearls, and then I did end up going back with the starburst sequins, and I am using the yellow in there. That yellow is not Darling Duckling, but I think that that bright yellow really, really works well against these dark colors. Now, I tied that pretty bow in this ribbon, and I just had to use it. So I'm affixing that to that pull tab with a glue dot. And then that cardstock needed a little bit of something. So I'm just adding some doodle lines with a white gel pen around the edge. Taking a look at that, I really like that. And then I decided to just do some little hatch marks here and there along the edge. And I really think that caps it off really nicely. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching as we celebrate Erin and her 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'm sure she's well over that by now. And I hope that I did her justice. It's always hard scrapbooking the quote unquote experts. But like I said before, it makes it really easy for someone like me because she does all the hard work for me. And then I take inspiration and I'm able to scrapbook our trips that we take together. You can catch all of the products that I used in the comments below. You'll find links as well as a link to our playlist for Erin's Hop. So if you want to check out all the other videos, if you haven't already done so, click on that. And if you aren't already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button and sign up for notifications so you won't miss another crafty video. Thanks, and I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend.